So, title defect. What is it? Well, let's sit down, enjoy a cup of coffee, and let me tell you a story of a title defect that we just had to deal with on the sale of 2 properties. All right? So come on, let's grab a seat. Hey guys, Kevin Cooper here with Bean Group and a title defect we just had in Derry, New Hampshire. So grab that coffee and enjoy this story. So let's start off at the beginning of the story. Let me introduce you to Rod Blunt. Rod called me back in 2019, wanted to sell one of his properties. See, he used to have an old farmhouse with a large group of land, and he subdivided that into 4 pieces of land. 1 for the farmhouse that he lived in, 3 more for 3 other properties. 1 down in 83 that he sold in 2003, a 2-family that he rented out, and he built one next to the farmhouse that he lived in, and then he rented out the old farmhouse. Well, in 2003, he sold the first house down at 83 Lane Road. Went through, no problems. Come 2019, he calls me up, he goes, Kevin, I want to sell the old farmhouse at 77 Lane Road. So I go over, meet with him, come up with a plan, get on the market, and we sell that house in 2019, no problems. Fast forward to the beginning of this year, I get a call from his daughter, Vivian. Rod had passed away from COVID, and we needed to sell his 2-family and his single-family home. So they went through the process of cleaning out the single-family home, cleaning out a lot of the basement of the 2-family because that was rented with 2 tenants, and we started out with putting the the single-family on the market, followed shortly thereafter by the 2-family. We instantly got a lot of showings, and we put both of those properties under contract. That is where things went from bad to worse. So during that process, a title defect came up. See, back in 2003, when Rodney sold that first property on 83 Lane Road, in the write-up of that deed, it included all 4 lots. They never wrote down just a description of that one lot. So on paper, that buyer of 83 Lane Road, on paper, owned all 4 lots. So we needed to get that squared away. Now this should have been caught back in 2019 with 77 Lane Road, but that title company didn't catch it. Remember, not all title companies are the same. So we had to get the attorney involved, and we went to the the buyer of 83 Lane Road to get a corrective deed. The lawyer goes, nope, can't do it. Because that buyer had refinanced his home last year, and Quicken Loans included the write-up on the deed in the mortgage. So now there's a mortgage on that entire property. Have you ever had to deal with Quicken Loans? It's not a quick process. So it took a long time. We lost the buyer on 79 Lane Road. They just didn't want to wait around to see how long this title defect would take. The buyer for 81 Lane Road was we'll wait. But it took a long time. It took 5 or 6 months to finally get this squared away where Quicken Loans agreed to release the properties from the mortgage. The buyer of 83 Lane Road signed over a new deed, signing those properties back over to Rodney's estate, and we were able to finally close on both properties. But it was a long process. So Rodney's daughters, they incurred a lot of legal fees. Lawyers aren't cheap, especially when you're dealing with something like this. So what could be done to maybe prevent this in the future? The best thing is when your title company is drawing up the deed, make sure they're aware, if it's been a subdivided piece of land, that you're just buying this one section, or you're just selling this one section. Title insurance is huge. Get title insurance. The problem is the buyer for the first property had title insurance. That title company has since gone out of business. The lawyer has retired, and no one knows who that title insurance was. So it was a mess. We finally got it cleaned up. It took about 6 months, and I can happily say that recently both of those properties have sold. Rodney, I hope, is looking down, happy with the outcome. And his daughters now don't have that added burden and stress of dealing with the two properties and the estate and so much that goes into all that. Title defects affect your true ownership of the property. Somewhere down the line, there was an error. A link was broken. Whether it be a mortgage company didn't properly discharge it at the registry of deeds, or in this case, they wrote up the deed incorrectly for that first piece of property. My name is Kevin Cooper, Bean Group. I hope you found this useful and informative, and I will see you on the next episode of Coop Knows, wherever that is. Take care.